You need to get buy-in from pretty much every department to some extent. I think the best I found to be very effective is making sure that firstly, you have a product vision which is set in a deck, or I like presentations because I like that personally, where everyone can be kind of aligned on what we're actually building or what the actual vision is. Because then once every department understands kind of, some people don't care, some people do, but people kind of understand what we're trying to achieve and why we're trying to achieve something, it makes it easier then to be able to kind of push those tasks. Like if you come in with random tasks without the individuals understanding the whole ecosystem you're trying to build, it makes it more difficult to sell. I mean, part of product is always going to be sales because you have to sell your ideas to the commercial stakeholders to get budgeting, to the developers. You're pretty much selling the idea to pretty much anyone. So having a cohesive strategy and vision that you're able to kind of share with all of the different teams and explain to them the why behind it, I found it to be quite effective. And then being able to kind of make sure that how then the different tasks are made is making sure that they're kind of firstly communicated in a way that it's easy for the team to understand. So making sure that the way you're communicating is kind of knowing your audience to some extent. Technology cares more about certain things. Design will care only about certain things. So this is something that sometimes I struggle with personally, I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes it's a bit difficult because I get too excited about the product aspect, but it's kind of making sure that each department gets kind of their own requirements documentation based on how their workflow is. Also making sure that kind of, as much as possible, there's two parts. Is integrating into their own process and workflow. So if they have a certain way of how they like to work and how their processes work, is you have an understanding of how they work and you kind of try to adhere to them. You're essentially adding more workload to them. So obviously making sure that, like, let's say the tasks are given in a certain way, in the way that they like them, in a certain process that they like, is going to make less headaches. On the other side, let's say, for example, if you're working with a team like design, making sure that they understand what you're trying to achieve, but then leaving them leeway on how they should achieve it. Because you're not there to dictate. I'm not a designer. I'm very good at user experience design, but ultimately you're asking the design team because they're better at design and they're the ultimate design stakeholder. So making sure that you leave a lot of leeway and be able to utilize their expertise as much as possible. So it's a bit of a mix between having a task of this is what I need done, but also like, how do you see this being done in the best way possible? Because then it needs to be a proper collaboration, essentially, between all the different departments. That seems to help quite easily usually.